Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm just going to be sharing a little update on One Book July, how it's going, how I've been using this lovely little pocket planner. I'm going to apologise in advance because my voice is very croaky because I've been ill for the past week or so, but hopefully it will hold out long enough to film this video. Okay, so I'm just going to flip through the planner, talk you through how I've been using it, how it's changed since the initial setup. I will leave a link to the initial setup video if you haven't already seen it. But yeah, this is my kind of opening page. This houses my bank card and my ID. So this is my planner as well as my purse. I am loving it in terms of that. It's a really nice size, so it's in my purse perfectly. I don't need a ton of cards with me, so yeah, tick in terms of purse usage. My index I haven't exactly been keeping up with. That isn't a massive surprise because I'm not really a huge kind of indexer of general pages. The post-it notes that were a bit of an experiment in terms of dashboard usage, haven't used it all, but still like having them there. Future log has been working as I wanted, so really happy with that. The habit tracker, so because I've been ill, some of my habits have kind of fallen off the wagon. I've not exactly been exercising or anything like that, but I absolutely love having this page here like this, having all of my habits in one place, having one place to refer to once a day. Probably one of my favourite parts so far. It's just been a nice little dashboard of the month and just something that at the start of the day, at the end of the day, I just do my little check-in. Am I on track? Have I done everything? Yeah, love it. As you will see, I have added actually some page flags, so if you saw my setup video you will have heard me say I was trying to keep it minimal and that I expected to add more as I went along. I have done, not for everything, and so there is still a lot of kind of flicking back and forth in pages which I'm not 100% on. It may get added, but I'm still trying to keep it reasonably minimal. In terms of the monthly view, again, working perfectly, loving all of this, loving the weekly tasks. It just helps kind of, when things need to be done rather than just having a random list there that I then have to try and remember what needs to be done when. So yeah, absolutely love this, working out really well. Then I have my social media / content view. Again, really loving this, really simple to use. When I set up my week, I just look what needs to be done, what needs to be taken, what needs to be filmed. It's all there as kind of a general content dashboard. I'll probably rejig this layout if I stay in this for next month because, as I mentioned in my setup, I didn't like the fact that there was so much wasted space here when I probably needed more for kind of video and image ideas and tracking and things like that. These are all Instagram pictures that or Instagram posts that kind of haven't been plotted in for this week, but they're ideas or things that I want to take or new things that have cropped up, so I do need some space here for that. Same with videos in terms of what's kind of planned in for the month. Okay, on to the weeklies, and this is obviously the weekly that you saw me set up in the setup video. Worked exactly how I wanted it to. The only thing that I really found was this sticker was a bit big, and so I had this weird space here, so I adjusted that for the next week, but other than that, worked really well. Onto my dailies, and yeah, I loved these. I just went mad in terms of logging absolutely everything. As you can see, I used quite a lot of pages, so, well, I say quite a lot, I used 4 pages, but it did mean that one week did take up 6 pages. That was probably my only concern after the first week because, this planner is only 120 pages, so to use 6 pages in 1 week, quite a lot. I then did add in this spread in between the weeks. So this is something I've never done before. I've done things like task cards before, and I've obviously got my habit tracker, but I've never just kind of done a bit of a brain dump of things that need to be done every day, every week, every month for kind of loads of, different areas of my life. So Lethbridge paper, home, work, and I just wanted to kind of get it down on paper just to see if it helped me set up my week and my month. Not constantly trying to remember things that I do. Like, a lot of it I do just remember, their instinct, but it's nice to have it all written down so that when I'm setting up my week or my month, I capture absolutely everything that I need to. Not everything will be done each week, so things like comments, actually they are just kind of YouTube comments as and when they come up, but I like to have them kind of have the task written on here and logged. So yeah, this was a bit of an experiment, but I do really like it, and I have been using it a lot when setting up my weeks. And this is week 2. So this is pretty much as it was in week 1, other than I've changed up the stickers to give me a bit more space. As it turns out, I actually didn't need it this week, partly because I have been ill. But yeah, it worked well. The only thing that I found is that because there were no lines for the days, I did find sometimes it was a bit trickier in terms of working out which line I should be writing stuff on. And so you'll see in the next week that I've just set up that I've added in some lines just to help my eye kind of get to where it needs to a bit quicker. I did also miscount my days, so I ended up with only 2 lines for Sunday rather than 3, and as space is quite limited in here as it is, that was quite annoying, particularly kind of here where, you know, 2 tasks for 1 day for pre-planning isn't enough. The dailies for this week I kept to 2 pages, again because I was ill. I didn't mention actually, so I was finding as I was using my first week that the pages were just kind of looking a little bland. So because I have like a whole hoard of stickers, I thought actually I'm just going to try adding in a few stickers just to kind of, you know, pretty it up, use a few of them. And actually I quite like how it's turned out. You know, it's not mad, but it's been nice just to add a few, make it look a bit nicer. It's a minor thing. This is just a page that I added in, a bit of a collection, thinking about 2024. Everyone seems to be releasing their pre-orders for 2024 planners. I'm on a no buy, and I won't be buying any planners until I know for definite what my kind of layout and setup is going to be. So yeah, this has helped me kind of really hone in on what it is that I want. I will probably do a video at some point around kind of choosing a planner and, you know, planning your planning setup for next year, because I think a lot of people are probably going to be in the same boat. So keep an eye out for that. And then just did a quick pen testing page because I'm kind of not liking this pen that much. It's fine. I just don't like my writing in it. I do miss my fountain pen, or, you know, just, yeah, I do think that for the final week I will be using a different pen. So I did a quick pen test page just to see how the paper really coped with fountain pen and Coletto, because I do like colour coding, and I realised that I could potentially go back to Coletto, which I haven't used in years, but I have a lot of them. So yeah, so I tried those on the page. I was quite impressed with how well the paper dealt with the inks. I had it in my head that Leuchtturm didn't like fountain pen. I don't know whether that's because when I first started using Leuchtturm many years ago, it wasn't a fan of it, not sure. But yeah, this time around, works really well. The only one probably was the Pilot ink cartridge. There's a little bit of feathering that you can't really see. This is just some blotting paper that I cut out and added a tab to. And the Pilot ink is basically the only one that actually got on there. So if I do use a fountain pen, it won't be that one. It'll probably be the Kaweco Sport, to be honest, because that's steady and fits in my little kind of pencil case journaling setup thing. But yeah, so I added that. I feel like it was a bit of a miss that I didn't have that in already. And then yeah, on to the most current week. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this because there is a plan with me scheduled for next week, kind of just showing you how I've set this up. But the only thing I do want to talk about is I've added in those lines just to make it a little bit easier to see where I need to write. So far, so good on this. And I add 1 tab for the weekly and 1 tab for the daily, just so I can get to those quickly. Obviously, if I only use 2 pages for dailies each week, then that's not much of an issue. But on the first week where I was using 4, I like to have the tab just to get to where I wanted to. You know, more easily. In terms of overall how it's working, I absolutely love this. The size is perfect. It fits in all of my bags, so I can take it to work, I can take it out with me. It's got everything I need. The back pocket is working well as an extension of my purse, so any vouchers or coupons that I need to put in here, perfect. Obviously you are quite limited in space versus my traveller's notebook that had a lot more space for, you know, vouchers, cards, things like that. But at the moment, it's not really holding me back. The only thing really that's kind of bugging me is the pen in terms of carrying it. So I have tried a few different methods. So there's this method where you kind of put the pen there. I then found that, you know, these bits got in the way, bent the paper. I've been kind of fixing it on the front here, but then you end up with indents and it does kind of move around in your bag. So that's probably the only thing at the moment that's really kind of irritating me, that obviously doesn't in the Traveller's Notebook, which was my kind of everyday carry and purse and everything before One Book July. So if I did, you know, move to this as a permanent thing, I would need to find a solution for the pen. Also another reason why I'm looking at the fountain pen in terms of the Caraco Sport, because it does fit in my tiny little journaling pouch that I use, you know, that I carry with me everywhere, but then that's another thing to bring. So yeah, that's a bit of an issue. When it comes to the dailies, probably the only thing that is kind of not even bugging me, but one thing that I have noted is that obviously there's a lot of wasted space here. I have thought about doing it in 2 columns like I did in my weeks, but then I feel like I would be quite limited in terms of, you know, where I do have kind of longer notes, they then kind of go across several lines, and I don't know whether it look a bit too busy or messy. And so yeah, the stickers are kind of a way to fill up a little bit of that blank space and hopefully kind of placate me. But that's the only thing potentially I might look to change up and see how I go with that. It will also mean I will use fewer pages. So yeah, watch the space on that. And that's it for how One Book July is currently working out for me. As you can see, pretty well overall, nothing major, nothing making me run back to my old planning system. The pen thing is kind of a minor irritation more than anything, so I will definitely be seeing out the month. It'll be interesting to see what I do come the end of the month, because I am quite tempted to stay in this, but I do know that I have my weeks, which I absolutely adore, so I wouldn't want to, you know, completely ditch that for the rest of the year, but we'll see. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully my voice lasted well enough, and the edits where I've had to go and cough and splutter haven't been too often and horrific. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments below if you're doing One Book July and how that's going, because I'd love to hear from more people doing it. But hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, bye.